What if the reason you're stuck isn't the task, but the way you talk about it? You say, I have to wake up early. I have to work out. I have to get things done. But what if that single phrase, have to, is silently draining your motivation? Asterisk. The Stoics had a powerful remedy for this. And it starts by flipping just 2 words. What happens when you stop saying, I have to, and start saying, I get to? The shift is subtle, but the effect on your mindset is massive. And once you understand why, you'll never look at your daily routines the same way again. Part 1. Understanding laziness. Let's talk about something we've all experienced. Laziness. But not the loud, dramatic kind. Laziness usually isn't obvious. It's quiet. It creeps in slowly. It starts when you say, I'll do it later. Then an hour passes. Then a whole day slips by. And before you know it, weeks or even months have gone, and the thing you wanted to do, your goal, your dream, your responsibility, is still sitting there, untouched. That's how laziness works. It doesn't scream at you. It whispers. It hides behind comfort. And while it keeps you feeling safe for a while, it slowly robs you of your energy, your confidence, and your potential. From the Stoic point of view, laziness isn't just about not doing anything. It's deeper than that. The Stoics believe that when we give in to laziness, we're actually turning our backs on something bigger, our purpose, our duty, and the person we're capable of becoming. There's a powerful quote from the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. He said, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." What does that mean? It means your life is built one decision at a time. Every small action matters. Even if the result isn't perfect, what matters is that you acted with intention. And no one, not the outside world, not your circumstances, can stop you from doing your part, from showing up and doing your best in this moment. The Stoics didn't see laziness as a small personal flaw. They saw it as a sign that we've forgotten who we are and what we're here to do. Because as humans, we're not meant to drift through life passively, we're meant to live with purpose. In this video, we're going to explore how Stoic philosophy can help you break through that fog of laziness. Not by yelling or pushing you with guilt, but by helping you understand what truly matters. And how small, meaningful choices, made consistently, can build the life you want. We're going to walk through powerful Stoic teachings, practical tools, and motivational insights to help you get unstuck, build momentum, and reclaim your time and energy, step by step, one decision at a time. Part 2. The Stoic view on laziness and nature's calling. Now let's take a deeper look at how the Stoics viewed laziness, not just as bad behavior, but as something unnatural. Something that goes against our very design as human beings. According to the Stoic philosophers, we are rational beings. What does that mean? It means we're born with the ability to think, to reason, to make choices, and to act with intention. We are not like rocks, which just sit there. We are not like animals, which act purely on instinct. We have minds. We have judgment. And that means, we are built to act. To make decisions. To take responsibility for our lives. Epictetus, a famous Stoic teacher, once said, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." Think about that. Most of the time, we're not lazy because we're physically tired. We're lazy because our minds are filled with imaginary obstacles. We overthink things. We fear failure. We assume we won't be good enough or that the task is too hard, so we delay starting. We imagine all the things that could go wrong. And because of that, we freeze. But Stoicism teaches us a powerful truth. There are things in life we can control, and things we cannot. And when we focus too much on what we can't control, like the opinions of others, or whether everything will go perfectly, we lose motivation. We hesitate. We procrastinate. But when we shift our focus to what we can control, like showing up, taking the first step, giving our full effort, we begin to move forward again. Laziness often takes root when we forget this distinction. When we spend too much time worrying about the outcome and not enough time simply doing the next right thing. So what do the Stoics tell us to do instead? They tell us to return to our purpose. To remember that as human beings, we are here to contribute, to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. And that doesn't mean we need to do something grand or dramatic. It means we need to show up and do the work in front of us, with integrity and intention, even if it's small. Because fulfillment, true satisfaction, doesn't come from sitting around being comfortable. It comes from engaging in meaningful action. It comes from living in alignment with your values, even when you don't feel like it. Laziness may feel good in the short term, but over time it leaves you feeling empty. On the other hand, taking consistent, purposeful action, no matter how small, fills you with confidence, energy, and clarity. So the next time you catch yourself avoiding action, remember. You were made to move. You were made to grow. You were made for something more than sitting in fear or comfort. And all it takes to step out of laziness is to take that first small step. Part 3. Discipline over emotion, the Stoic weapon against laziness. Let's face it, most of us wait for the perfect moment to get things done. We say, "I'll work when I feel motivated." But here's the truth, motivation is unreliable. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. One moment you feel inspired, and the next, you feel tired or distracted. And when you depend on feelings to move forward, you often end up stuck. The Stoics knew this well. They didn't trust motivation. Instead, they trusted discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Even when it's boring. Even when it's hard. It means showing up, again and again, because it's the right thing to do. Epictetus, one of the most powerful voices in Stoic philosophy, once said, "If someone handed over your body to a stranger, you'd be outraged. But how often do you hand over your mind to random thoughts and emotions?" What he means is this. Every time you give in to laziness. Every time you say, "I'll do it later." You're allowing a fleeting emotion to make your decision for you. You're giving up control of your mind. And over time, those small moments of surrender add up. They become missed opportunities, unrealized potential, wasted days. Now picture this. It's early morning. Your alarm rings. And you lie there, thinking of how warm your bed is and how cold the floor might be. Your mind begins negotiating. Just 5 more minutes. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, offers different advice. He wrote, "When you struggle to get out of bed, remind yourself, I'm rising to do the work of a human being. This isn't just about getting up. It's about choosing to act, despite how you feel. It's about recognizing that your purpose, your responsibility, is greater than your comfort." A Stoic doesn't run from laziness. They confront it. When you feel stuck, try asking yourself, what exactly am I avoiding right now? Is there a fear behind this feeling, fear of failure, discomfort, or rejection? What action would reflect the best version of myself? And then, act. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it's small. Because that small act of discipline is a vote for the person you want to become. The Stoics teach us this. Your feelings do not define you. Your choices do. Part 4. Momentum and the first step. Here's another important truth the Stoics lived by. The hardest part of doing anything is simply starting. Think about how many times you've sat there, overwhelmed by a task. Maybe it's an assignment, a fitness goal, or cleaning your home. The longer you sit still, the bigger the task seems. But as soon as you take that first small step, things begin to shift. Seneca, a wise Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." In other words, it's not the task itself that's overwhelming. It's our hesitation, our fear, our avoidance. Laziness grows stronger when you do nothing. But the moment you move, even slightly, you create momentum. Think of a car stuck in the mud. At first, it won't budge. But once you push just enough to get the wheels turning, even slowly, the car begins to move forward. That's how progress works. You don't need to write an entire book today. But you can write one sentence. You don't need to clean the entire house. Just start with one corner. You don't need to run 5 miles. Just put on your shoes and step outside. The Stoic doesn't wait to feel ready. They become ready by doing. If you're lying in bed and can't get up, count down from 5. And when you reach 1, stand. Just stand. That single act changes your state. It shifts your energy. Movement creates clarity. Motion gives your mind a direction. And once you're in motion, the next step becomes easier. The key is this. Don't aim for perfect. Don't aim for big. Just aim for forward. One small step. Taken now. That's how you build momentum and leave laziness behind. Part 5. Duty and identity, anchoring motivation in who you are. When the Stoics talked about motivation, they didn't focus on chasing results, like money, praise, or success. Instead, they focused on who you are becoming through the actions you take every day. They believed that the most powerful source of motivation doesn't come from what you want. It comes from the kind of person you want to be. So instead of asking, "What do I feel like doing today?" they asked, "What kind of person am I becoming by doing, or not doing, this task?" Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop talking about the kind of person you want to be. Start living like that person now. You see, when you act from a sense of duty, when you feel a deep responsibility to become your best self, laziness begins to lose its power over you. It's no longer about whether the task is enjoyable or not. It's no longer about whether you're in the mood. It's about showing up because it aligns with your identity, with your character. You are not your temporary moods. You are not the comfort you crave in the moment. You are the result of your decisions. One decision at a time. One choice at a time. Seneca, another Stoic thinker, once said, "Life is long, if you know how to use it. Every moment you waste in laziness is time lost that you'll never get back. But every moment you use intentionally is a brick in the foundation of your future self." So don't wait for life to hand you purpose. Build it. Don't wait to feel ready. Live your identity, through action. You don't do the work because it's easy. You do the work because it shapes your character. Because it moves you closer to the person you were born to become. Part 6. Controlling the mind, how to talk yourself into action. Your mind is the battlefield. It's where laziness either wins, or gets crushed. Every day, there's a voice in your head whispering reasons to delay, to avoid, to do it later. And every day, you have a choice: listen to that voice, or rise above it. The Stoics knew that the mind can either be your best friend, or your worst enemy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind." Let that sink in. What you think about directly shapes the way you live. So if your thoughts are full of excuses and doubts, your life will be full of unfinished goals. But if your thoughts are filled with strength, clarity, and purpose, you'll start to act like it. Imagine this. It's early in the morning. Your alarm goes off. You're tired. And that little voice inside says, "Just a few more minutes, stay in bed." But the Stoic inside you, the one trained for duty and discipline, responds, "No. I have a task to fulfill. I wasn't made to sleep my life away. I was made to rise and live with purpose." That's how you talk yourself into action. You don't debate. You decide. And you can make this even easier by creating mental routines, simple habits to strengthen your mind every day. Here's how you do it. In the morning, ask yourself, what do I need to do today to live with integrity and discipline? Midway through your day, check in and ask, am I still staying focused on what matters? Or have I let laziness sneak in? At night, reflect honestly. What did I avoid today, and why? What can I do better tomorrow? These 3 check-ins, morning, midday, and evening, will help you build self-awareness. And self-awareness is the first weapon against laziness. You must learn to train your mind like a muscle. Just like lifting weights strengthens the body, controlling your thoughts strengthens your discipline. So speak to yourself with clarity. Replace self-pity with purpose. Don't just listen to your thoughts, lead them. Because when you master your inner world, the outer world can no longer hold you back. Part 7. Facing discomfort, choosing hardship like a Stoic. Have you ever noticed how we often avoid doing the things we know we should, just because they're uncomfortable? Maybe it's waking up early to start your day with focus. Maybe it's finishing a project that feels overwhelming. Or maybe it's having that difficult conversation you've been putting off. Most of the time, laziness isn't about being tired. It's about avoiding discomfort. We don't want to deal with the boredom that comes from focused work. We don't want to face the fear of failing. And we definitely don't want to feel the sting of starting something new and struggling at the beginning. But here's what the Stoics believed. Discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's something to train with. They didn't run from hardship. They saw it as the very thing that built strength, courage, and resilience. Now, Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once expressed a sentiment that goes something like this. "Throw me to the wolves, and I'll come back leading the pack." He didn't mean that literally. What he meant was that adversity, hardship, and even failure, these are the things that shape us. They don't destroy us, unless we let them. A Stoic looks at discomfort and says, "This is my training ground." Just like a soldier doesn't complain about a hard drill, or an athlete doesn't avoid tough practice, the Stoic doesn't avoid what's hard. Because they know that comfort doesn't make you stronger. Discomfort does. So, how do we begin to embrace this mindset in daily life? Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than you want to. Push through one more task when your mind says, "Let's take a break." Delay the reward, like watching your favorite show, until you've finished what really matters. Every time you choose the harder thing over the easy escape, you are reinforcing discipline. And discipline, true, consistent, Stoic discipline, is the gateway to freedom. Because the path of least resistance often leads us nowhere. But the path of discipline? That's the road to a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled version of you. Part 8. Practicing voluntary hardship to build inner strength. Now, let's go one step deeper into the Stoic way of life. The Stoics didn't just prepare for hard times, they actually practiced hardship on purpose. They had a technique called premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. But don't let the Latin scare you, this simply means they regularly imagined and prepared for the worst that could happen, before it happened. But more than just imagining hardship, they took things a step further. They voluntarily lived it. Seneca, for example, would sometimes sleep on the floor instead of a bed. He would eat very plain, tasteless food. He would wear rough, uncomfortable clothes. Why? Because he wanted to remind himself that he could endure hardship. That if life suddenly took a bad turn, if he lost his wealth, or comfort, or health, he wouldn't be broken by it. He once wrote something powerful. Set aside a few days each month. Live with the bare minimum, rough clothes, cheap food, and ask yourself, is this what I feared? Think about that. Seneca was training his mind to be unshaken. To see that hardship wasn't something to be afraid of, it was something to understand, even embrace. Because when you face discomfort on your own terms, laziness starts to lose its grip on you. You stop needing luxury to function. You stop needing comfort to feel okay. So, how can you apply this in your own life, right now? You don't need to sleep on the floor or fast for days. But you can challenge yourself with small acts of discomfort. Try standing while you work for an hour. Skip your favorite snack or dessert for a day. Take a cold shower once a week. Turn off your phone and stay off social media for a full evening. These aren't punishments, they're exercises. And like physical training builds your body, these small challenges build your inner strength. Each time you practice voluntary hardship, you prove to yourself that you're not a slave to comfort. That you have power over your cravings. And most importantly, that you are capable of doing what's necessary, even when it's difficult. In the end, it's not about suffering for the sake of suffering. It's about building the kind of mental muscle that makes laziness feel like a joke. You train with hardship so that when life gets tough, you're already tougher. Part 9. Focus on what you can control, stop letting excuses win. Let's be honest, excuses are what feed our laziness. Think about it, every time you say, "I'm too tired. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't feel ready yet." You're handing over control of your life to circumstances. But here's what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. In simpler terms, do what you can with what you have, right now. And whatever you can't control, let it be. Now, listen closely. There are many things you can't control in life. You can't go back and fix your past. You can't change the weather on a rainy day. You can't control how you feel the moment you wake up, tired, anxious, unmotivated. But what you can control is your next move. You can control whether you get out of bed. You can control whether you take the first step toward your goals. You can control whether you keep going when things get tough. That's where the Stoic mindset kicks in. Don't wait for the perfect time, or the perfect mood. Perfect conditions are a fantasy. They don't exist. A Stoic doesn't sit around hoping life will get easier. A Stoic strengthens themselves for the path ahead, as it is. This is the turning point. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility. That's the moment laziness begins to lose its grip on you. Excuses die when ownership is born. You own your effort. You own your choices. And you own the life you're creating, moment by moment. Part 10. The true reward of taking action, a virtuous life. Now, let's talk about the reward. What's the real payoff for overcoming laziness? It's not just about finishing your to-do list. It's not only about cleaning your room or hitting a deadline. The real reward is internal. When you consistently show up, take action, and push past laziness, you build something far more valuable than success. You build self-respect. You start to see yourself as reliable. You start to feel proud of who you are becoming. You begin to trust yourself. That's powerful. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." Think about that. You don't need recognition. You don't need someone to clap for you. You just need to know that you did what was right. When you take action rooted in discipline, purpose, and virtue, you find peace. Not the peace that comes from doing nothing, but the peace that comes from knowing you're living the life you were meant to live. And when your daily actions align with your values, you begin to feel whole. You're not just checking off boxes. You're building a life of strength, character, and quiet confidence. And that's the kind of peace laziness will never offer you. Conclusion: the time to act is now. Let's end with this truth. You were not made to sit still. You weren't made to coast through life in comfort and distraction. You were made to rise. To move. To build. To grow. Epictetus asked a powerful question over 2,000 years ago. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Ask yourself that today. Because motivation doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. The Stoic doesn't hope to be motivated. The Stoic creates motivation by taking consistent action, even when it's hard. And you don't need to be perfect. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and change everything overnight. You just have to begin. Remember, you don't have to finish everything today. You just have to start. You don't need to feel 100% ready. You just need to take the first step. You don't need the perfect mood. You just need a clear choice. Overcoming laziness isn't about superhuman strength. It's about steady momentum. One good decision at a time. One disciplined moment after another. So live today as if it's your only chance. But prepare for life as if you'll have 100 more. Because every day you take ownership, you become stronger. Every task you complete, no matter how small, brings you closer to your highest self. And that's your duty, not tomorrow. Today. Right now. So don't wait for the perfect hour. Don't wait to feel ready. Rise. Begin. Persist. The Stoic path is not easy. But it leads to the kind of life that's worth living. And the power to walk that path? It's already in you.